Hey, hey, hey. This is Urban Politics, and I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do, please. As soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to run right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of run right into it. I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. Happy Sunday coming to you. This will be coming to you probably Monday morning, though. So happy Monday morning to you. Whole lot going on in the political sphere here in America, but it's interesting. I love it as a purveyor of politics. There's plenty to purvey these days, is there not? So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about the Republican Party and this budget that they're trying to pass. Right? I guess it passed in the Senate. Chuck Schumer, he caved with 12 other Democrats, and they went ahead and they signed it. So now it still has to pass the House, and we'll see what happens with that. We'll see if it passes the House. A lot of people are saying it probably won't pass the House because there's a lot of more stringent guidelines in the House for bills like this to pass. And this bill sucks. It does a lot of horrible things that we're going to talk about in a minute here. So I'm hoping that Democrats in the House hold the line and do not vote for this horrible bill. Now, Chuck Schumer is claiming that he voted for it because he doesn't want Democrats to get blamed for a government shutdown. And that never looks good. One party or the other is always blamed for if the government shuts down. Of course, Democrats will try and say, nah, we didn't shut down the government. We didn't vote, for that resolution or whatever to increase the debt ceiling because the stuff that they were putting with it is garbage, and we'll talk about that. But then you'll have the other opposition party saying that no, we put up a budget and they didn't vote for it, so they're the ones who are shutting down the government, right? So then, the American people get to parcel that out for themselves. But it is what it is. There's a lot of things in this budget I think suck. And I definitely think that the Democrats should hold the line and not vote for it. Now, Democratic fervor or whatever, as far as how people feel about the Democratic Party is at an all-time low. I forget the number, but I think it's like in the 20 or 30%. It might be 27% or something like that. Percent of people view the Democratic Party favorably. I think that's because they haven't seen them fighting. So right now, we're on the precipice of an awesome fight. So if the Democrats just dig their heels in and they keep fighting, that number will come up. They will gain favorability with the American people. But I think a lot of American people right now, especially the youth, are viewing the Democratic Party as kind of resting on their laurels and not doing much. Ergo, their numbers aren't so good. So what is in this horrible budget that the Republicans are trying to pass? It cuts SNAP, which is food stamps, by $230 billion. They want to cut food stamps by $230 billion. So 1 in 5 kids uses food stamps, on food stamps. 1 in 5 kids will go hungry if they pass that budget they want to pass, ladies and gentlemen, right? Cuts to Medicaid by $880 billion. So that's 35% of children in the U.S. get Medicaid. If they cut Medicaid by $880 billion, that's going to be a lot of poor people who are not going to get health care. That's going to be a lot of children, a lot of disabled people who do not get health care. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So that $880 billion cut, that's a big deal. And then all of this is in order to give a $1.1 trillion tax cuts to the 1%. 1%. 1% is your people like your Zuckerbergs. You know what I'm saying? And your, your Bransons. And, I think that's the guy who owns Virgin. And these 1%ers, people who do not need the tax cut. If you went and talked to most of these people and told them you're about to get a $1.1 trillion tax cut, they would say, we don't need it. Now I don't know if they would also put the caveat on that is actually they should be taxing us more so that, these poor and middle class people could actually have a decent life. I don't know if they would add that caveat, but that's the caveat that needs to be added. If you're a billionaire, A, should they be taxing you more? Yes, they should be. And 2, they should be doing it because the other people who live in this country that you live in, should be able to have decent lives and not you be hoarding all the resources and the money, right? So there's that. So that's what's going on. So it's a horrible budget. They want to pass it or whatever. It's still, like I said, it still has to pass the House. I think they said they need 8 Democrats to pass it. They were saying there are even federal workers who are supporting shutting down the government because right now This right here, this spending bill in particular, gives the president way too much power. It gives him power to put these different funds where he wants to put them, to create agencies and get rid of agencies. We don't need all that, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need a dictator. All right? A president is cool. We do not need a dictator. That is why the founding fathers came over here. It's because they had a dictator and they hated that. They didn't want that. So they came over here to get away from it. We don't need it again. But there's a lot of people in the Republican Party, and there's the standard bearer of the Republican Party, Trump. He's dying to be a dictator. So that looks like the road we're going down. That is not a road that we want to go down. Now, the other big thing we're going to talk about was giving people a whole lot of brown-eyed agony, gray hairs, all of that good stuff. Tariffs. Tariffs. I've talked about tariffs ad nauseam, but there's still people, I guess, who don't understand it. And it blows me away, because then now I'm like, do these people not understand it? Or do they just want to explain to them 100 times so that they can sit there and still act like they don't understand it and still keep going ahead and holding water for Trump and saying that this is a good idea for the economy and it's not a bad thing? Because, you know, you could explain this 103 different ways and people will still act like they don't understand it and still somehow act like he knows what he's doing. But obviously, he does not. People, they give him so much benefit of the doubt, you know, and it's no secret what that's about, right? But my point is, at some point, when do people just wake up and keep it real, man? And you know what I'm saying? Call a spade, it is what it is. I'll get into it. Look, okay. First things first, we all know how tariffs work. And if you don't, here it is. Boom. Tariffs work like this. I work at Best Buy. I go to the port to buy flat screens from China. You know what I'm saying? There's a tariff on those flat screens. I, as the person from Best Buy, I have to pay that tariff to get those flat screens. When I get them, I take them to Best Buy. Best Buy says, oh, you had to pay an extra $100 for these flat screens? Well, we'll just pass that on to the consumer. And then they raise the price of that TV up. Ergo, when you go into a Best Buy, you pay more for the TV because of the tariffs. Now, there it is. That's the easiest way to explain it. But people sit there and act like they don't understand it. Dude, this is not rocket science. Okay? And this is what should further let you know that the president is not that smart a man. Because I just explained tariffs and how they work for you, right? So we are paying the tariffs. We, not them, us. When that guy from Best Buy goes to the port to get that TV, when he incurs that price, he's passing it along to you, the consumer. Who don't understand that? That is how tariffs work. Obviously, the president don't even understand that. Or maybe he does and he don't care, right? Anyway, moving on. So that's how tariffs work. Listen, financial analysts are lying to you. I sit here and I watch all these Sunday morning shows. These guys are idiots. They're lying to you. There was some dude, I didn't even get his name. I didn't even care about his name. He gonna sit there and say, oh, don't worry about the stock market hemorrhaging thousands of dollars a day. It's no big deal. Markets fluctuate. What? That's ridiculous. But see, this guy can say that because he's insulated by a mountain of cash. I guarantee you that guy sleeps on a bed of cash every night. He made him. He got plenty of money. You know what I'm saying? So he gonna sit there and tell you something. Listen, I heard some lady, MSNBC was doing a story, said a lady sat there and watched her husband's 401k shed $8,000 in one day. In one day, her husband's 401k lost $8,000. But this dude gonna say it ain't no big deal. Markets are volatile. And then they say that all this tariff stuff is about the long range. So right now they say, oh, there'll be some financial hardship. And it'll be a little pain right now. But in the long run, America will be better off. Listen, this is a family show, so I don't like to curse. You is a DAMN fool. If you would sit there and let some white man with nice white teeth and a nice suit tell you that $8,000 being hemorrhaged from some person's 401k in one day ain't no big deal. If you can listen to that guy say that and you feel good, well, guess what? I got some land in Florida some swamp land in Florida that I want to sell you. Because get out of here. I don't care what school this guy went to. I don't care what letters he got behind his name. I don't care what accolades they want to get this guy. The stock market sucks right now. It is being tanked. And tanked purposefully, right? So there's that. Listen. Here's what's crazy. And this is just this is just the marquee of all of this. This is the marquee of this moment right now, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. Trump was given an economy that was the envy of the world. And he has tanked it in 3 months. 3 months. 3 months. They said the economy that Biden left was the envy of the world. And this man has put it in the toilet in 3 months. If I'm wrong, please push back. I'm dying for some pushback on this. I won't get any. Okay? Because if you got eyes and you got ears, that's what's going on right now. Okay? This guy was given an economy that was the envy of the world. He's tanked it in 3 months. That's ridiculous. But guess what? That's kind of what these Republicans do, right? Because I sit here thinking, I'm old enough to remember, I'm 48 years old, right? So I've been watching this political thing for a long time, right? I've been watching politics for a long time. I remember a guy named George Bush Jr. He had got, I want to say, I might be wrong on this. If somebody's got the complete, the right number sent to, I'm going to go ahead and take a wag at it. I think it was $80 million in surplus. In surplus, Bill Clinton had left for America. That means when Bill Clinton left office, there was $80 million in the coffers that America had. Money on the books, right? And then George Bush Jr. ran through that in, a month or two, taking us to war with Iraq. So these Republican presidents, they're kind of a trackless at doing this. They get left with some money, or they get left or given a good economy, or given some good money for America, and they blow it on some BS, right? So this guy ain't no different. Oh, Lord. I'm going to tell you what, like I said, don't let any of these economists or these other jokers sit there on these news shows and lie to you. Oh, this is just a little uncomfortability right now. No. This guy was given the best economy, an economy that was the envy of the world, and he's tanked it in 3 months. Let that rattle around in your medulla oblongata for a minute. Check this out. Okay. Some things that me and you can look forward to saying goodbye. Well, not goodbye to, but paying a lot more for because of this tariff war that the orange man is involved in or starting. All right. Get ready to pay more for potatoes, grains, lumber, steel, lumber and steel. That's why you ain't seeing that's a part of why you ain't seeing no houses bill. You also ain't seeing no houses bill because your boy talking about deporting everybody, and all the people he wanted to deport are the people who build the houses. Ergo, ain't no house being built because you done deported them, they left. And don't want to build a house no more. So there's that. Anyway, electronics, cars, they were saying that too. If you need to buy a car, it's going to be $20,000 to $30,000 more than it would have been before this before this tariff madness. Fruits, vegetables, beer, and liquor. That really hurts. I ain't gonna lie, there wasn't much on this list I was too salty about, but that beer and liquor, that hits me right here, ladies. Hit me right in now. My beer and my liquor? What? Thanks, Trump. The tariffs is gonna make all that more money. Now, and here's something that's saying to put a little more perspective for you. An average oil change right now on a car is $50 to $80. You know what I'm saying? Usually I go get an oil change, it'd be anywhere from $50, about like $60, right? $50 to $80. They were saying now it's going to be over $100. So you know what I'm saying? I'm used to paying maybe $65 for an oil change. Next time I go over here to get an oil change with all this tariff madness going on from Trump, I'll probably be paying $100, $110, $120. And that's what's up. So that's what's sad and pathetic. Now, when you think about all of this stuff, right, you think about how the midterms are coming. There are a lot of Republicans who are salty because they know this is hurting right now, right? Have you seen some of these town halls? They're hilarious. I can't get enough of watching them. It's so funny to see these guys go back and get just cussed out by their constituents. And you got like a lot of older white women going ham on these guys, you know what I'm saying? Because, they're losing their jobs. They talking about getting rid of the Department of Education and, you know what I'm saying, did all this stuff with veterans and doing all this stuff with farmers and all this other stuff. So they're really hearing it from their constituents. I love it. It's great to see these guys under the hot seat like that. A lot of these Republican politicians, right? But there's something they could do, right? They could stop all of this. Believe it or not, the president is only so powerful. Congress has the real power. But for Congress to be powerful, Congress has to, one, be together, and then two, have a backbone, right? So let me explain it to you. Okay, so tariffs continue. That's what I call this because I couldn't stop talking about this tariff stuff because it's on everybody's mind and it's making everybody's life a living nightmare. So let's talk more about it. Tariffs. The only reason Trump can turn these tariffs on and off is because he declared a financial crisis. That's what's going on right now. So he declared a financial crisis, what gives him the ability to manipulate these tariffs. You know, to put them on, put them off, raise them, lower them, all that garbage you've been doing, right? Congress could overturn this declaration. Congress could stop it tonight, today, right now, on the sound of my voice. Congress could stop it, right? The Democrats tried to force a vote. The Republicans ceded power. So that's what happened. Democrats tried to force a vote on them ending this financial crisis, right? The Republicans. The Republicans ceded power, say that we don't have the power to do it. Think about that. That's crazy. They sat there and said, oh, we can't do it. We don't have the power to do it. So they ceded power. The Republican Party said the rest, and then here's what they did. They put this in there. They said the Republican Party said that the rest of the days that this Congress is in session is one day, right? Thus getting them out of the 15-day time limit. So let me explain that. There's like 100 and some change days left of this particular Congress being in session. They were able to write it to where that 110 days will count as one day. So there's a 15-day limit for them to take this vote that could stop Trump's tariffs. But they don't have to take that vote because, heck, to them, one day is going to be to the end of this Congress. So what would the next day be? See how they play games with the law and all of that? If you can wrap your head around that, that's what this Republican Congress did. That's what they did because they're so afraid of Lord King Trump. They're so afraid of that MAGA base that they don't even want to take a vote to end this tariff war, which is crippling America, which is crippling their constituents, which is probably going to be the reason that a lot of them don't get reelected. Because the midterms are coming, ladies and gentlemen, and people are paying attention. Whoa, they're paying attention. They're paying attention now like never before. So what you going to do when the midterms come up and your constituents vote you out of office because you let this guy just run rampant with these tariffs because you didn't have the backbone to do what you needed to do legislatively to stop it. But they could, ladies and gentlemen, and I want everybody to know that. You know, unless you watch a lot of news like I do, unless you watch Rachel Maddow like I do, you probably wouldn't know that. But the Republicans could stop this. They just don't have the testicular fortitude to do it. They don't have the backbone to do it. They're afraid of Trump. They're afraid of his MAGA base. And that's where we're at. You know, and that's really where we're going to stay with this party. This party is weak. It's feckless. It's pathetic. Hardly any of them will stand up to Trump. I don't know if there's been one Republican who will speak truth to power. They're all afraid of that MAGA base. It's sad. It's pathetic. Now, with that said, I don't want to act like the Democrats are wearing any halos because Chris Matthews, they were talking to him, and that's my dude. If you watch this show, you know I'm a big fan of Chris Matthews. He had even said, what did he say about that Democratic Party? Like he said, they are anemic. They're anemic. They're weak. They're feckless. They're in the crouch position, but they could come up out of that. Where are some of these other Democrats at, right? Okay, I see Ocasio-Cortez all the time. Where you at, Cory Booker? You know, there's other Democrats whose voices haven't been heard yet. They haven't come to the forefront. Stop waiting. This is no time to be resting on your laurels. This is no time to be thinking that Ilhan Umar and them other Democrats is going to do it. They're doing their thing. You need to do your thing too. I need to see every Democrat whose mouth works to be working their mouth and making noise right now about what that other party is doing and how they're screwing over the American people. Excuse my friend. Screwing over the American people. It is what it is. You know, and that's what we need right now. So Democratic Party, if you want to see your favorability numbers come up, get up off your rusty dusty, like Michael Steele said. He is a Republican, but like he said, he want to see somebody care. Let's see some animus. Let's see some passion. Democratic Party, and fight these guys. You know, you don't have the numbers right now, but guess what? You do have voices, and you can say something. And if you just make it plain to the American people how Doge is screwing them over, how Trump is screwing them over, how Elon is screwing them over, you can have some headway. But you got to open your mouth. You have to do that, you know. And Democrats have always struggled with messaging. You know, some of the surrogates they got, Jasmine Crockett, they're amazing, but we need more. And there are other people in the Democratic Party, I think they're just scared to come forward. You need to shake off that scaredness and step yourself to the forefront. right? And let your voice be heard. That is what it is. That is my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here, this is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.